Welcome. I'm Jessica Lonnie Rich, host of Inspire You and Me. It's an inspirational show where we talk to people who are making a difference. On this week's show, we have computer expert and the Dean of the Council Corps of Hawaii, Denis Salle, the President and CEO of Make-A-Wish Hawaii, Trini Kaopuiki Clark, and transportation consultant Ross Capon from Washington, D.C. And be sure to stay tuned for the Animal Lovers Clip of the Week. We'll have all that and more, and we'll be back right after this.
5914-777. 5914-777. Who's got the best deals in Vegas around? Who's got the best job? Call 5914-777 today. Vacations Hawaii. Vacations Hawaii. Vacations Hawaii. Good luck, we go play. 5914-777 today. Good luck, we go play.
We are very pleased to have as our special guest on the show. He is the Dean of the Council Corps of Hawaii and also the Honorary Consul for Germany. He's also a technology expert. Please welcome Denis Salle. Hi, Denis.
Hi, how are you?
Good. It's so good to see you again.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks for having me.
Denis, before we talk about technology and helping the viewers, you are the Dean of the Council Corps of Hawaii. What does the Council Corps do?
We're sort of a diplomatic organization. We get together to exchange information and to kind of support each other. We, as you may know, have 6 career consuls in Hawaii and about 30 honorary consuls.
What is your role as the Honorary Consulate of Germany?
So, first of all, consuls are typically of 2 categories. So there are the professionals that have gone through diplomatic training in their home countries, and then there are representatives like myself who have other careers and had an interest or were asked to serve their country abroad. Those people, the so-called honorary consuls, are typically not paid for what they do, and they are often in their job for much longer than the career consuls. So my tenure is pretty much as long as I want. In my case, I think I'm the only one or one of 2. I think Italy can also issue passports, real passports. The others can probably take applications, and some can't even do that. They invite the Consul General from California. Obviously, everybody needs to renew their passports when they are not at home. That becomes quite a chore. Yeah. Then there's a lot of documentation that we deal with, contracts of sale, birth certificates, all kinds of paperwork that requires a government official to certify it. We do that too.
You have a wonderful trait that I just think is fantastic. You go above and beyond when you're helping the people of Germany. For example, when you and I were working on a case, you actually went to the airport to help out one of your people.
I have to tell you a little secret there, Jessica. Okay. I have made a rational calculation. Since we live on an island, there's no way this German national will leave the island if he needs something that I have. If I help them now with all I have, I will resolve this issue immediately. Any pushback, any kind of difficulty that arises that I am the cause of doesn't help me in the end.
Good point.
So it really works out to fix the problem right there and then.
Yes.
And so that's why I do this. I mean, of course, I have a love for people, and especially my German countrymen, but I really figured out early, I've been doing this for 8 years, that this will come back.
Denis, you are a technology expert and also the founder of EC3. What does EC3, the company, actually do?
So in a nutshell, EC3 is a support company for physicians. physicians are dealing with a lot of technology on a daily basis. Many people may not realize that, but private practices especially are dealing with electronic medical records, billing systems, lab systems, and now telehealth on top of that. And most physicians are not really in a position where they can manage all this IT themselves. That's where EC3 comes in. So we help with revenue cycle management or medical billing, and we help with electronic medical records and everything that has to do with the hardware and software.
Yeah, so if they set up a telehealth appointment and you're the doctor, and let's say I'm the patient and I call up and I don't know how to use it, there's a problem there.
There's a problem because now the physician expects you to be on his screen and you can't find the audio or the video button on your computer, you know, and you oftentimes don't know what software the doctor is using. So it's not all Zoom, it's not all Google Meet. Some doctors use proprietary systems that come with their electronic records. And it's not always easy for the patients to figure out where do I have to click, what buttons do I have to turn on, so that we can actually talk. And so what the doctors do is they send the medical assistants ahead of time, make a phone call to the patient, talk them through this process to then be ready when the doctor is.
The name of our show is Inspire You and Me. What inspires you?
I have a love for people, so I do like to put people into better positions. And I also really like to hook up people. So I take great joy in when I can bring, you know, one person looking for something and the other person having it together. That is a big driver for me. So the job that I have does that on both sides. So I do it through technology and I do it with my consular work. And when it clicks, it's kind of fun to watch, you know.
Well, you're doing a great job. I want to thank you so much for not just making a difference in our community, but also making a difference in the world. And I wish you continued success. Thank you so much for being a guest on Inspire You and Me.
Well, thank you, Jessica, and the same to you. We all know what you do in the community, so thanks for that.
The law firm of Cronin Freed is proud to sponsor Inspire You and Me, a show about people in our community who are making a difference. I'm Rick Freed, and our law firm of 16 attorneys handles major injury cases, choosing to devote our considerable talent and staff to those injured people and victims for whom we can make a great difference. We hope that you will be inspired to follow your dreams and find your purpose.
We are very excited to have as our special guest on the show. She is the president and CEO of Make-A-Wish Hawaii, Trini Kaopuiki Clark. Welcome, Trini.
Thank you so much.
This is exciting. Now, usually you're on this side.
Yes, I'm getting used to that, being on this side of the interview. But yeah, for 19 years I was at KHON, and we've kind of in a new role now.
Yeah, and your role as a television anchor, reporter, interviewer, and talk show host, and MC, all of those wonderful things.
Yes, and it was wonderful at that time in my life. I am extremely grateful to have been with KHON for 19 years. As you know, there's a lot of turnover in the news business, so to have been with one news station for that long really is a blessing. But now I'm in the next chapter of my life, and I feel so blessed to be leading the team at Make-A-Wish Hawaii.
And before we get into that, a lot of people don't know this about you, but you are former Miss Hawaii in 1999.
That's correct. Saying the year is not necessary. But yes, former Miss Hawaii, USA, and yeah, wonderful time, and I love to kind of stay involved with the program. I've emceed the Miss Hawaii pageant over the last few years, so lots of fun.
In case there are some people out there who don't know the mission of Make-A-Wish, Can you share with us a little bit about that?
Thank you for allowing me to share. Our mission is to grant life-changing wishes to children with critical illnesses. And every opportunity I have, I like to make sure people understand that it's not a last wish. A lot of people still think that Make-A-Wish is for terminally ill children, and that is not true. Sadly, some of our children do pass away, but many live on to have happy, healthy lives. Many of them come back to volunteer at Make-A-Wish. It's really wonderful to see how they take advantage of wishing it forward for other Wish kids too.
And what I understand that there are two very popular areas in the United States that Make-A-Wish children want. Can you share with us about that?
That's correct. The number one most requested wish, do you want to take a guess?
Disneyland?
Disneyland, very good.
Or
Disney.
Disney World.
Well, it's Disney overall.
Okay.
So that could include Disney World, Disneyland, Disney cruises. But the number two most requested wish is Hawaii.
Wow.
So last year we had 1,263 children and their families come to Hawaii. And I always like to tell people, you know, when you go to Disney, we all love Disney, but you know what you're gonna experience, right? So you go to the theme park and you see all of the characters and ride really fun rides. When children wish to come to Hawaii, the wishes are varied. You know, some children may want to learn how to surf from Bethany Hamilton. Someone may want to be a volcanologist. Another child might want to swim with a mermaid.
Wow.
So it's all over the place. It's whatever their imagination, you know, can come up with. So we have a team, our Wish Assist department, that actually helps to coordinate those wishes. I call them our little angels because
they are.
They really
Yeah.
are. It's all about showing our visitors the true meaning of aloha and going over and beyond to make sure their stay in Hawaii is extra special. I do like to share with folks, though, that the home chapter pays for those wishes.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's
so,
good to know.
Yes, all of the monies we raise in Hawaii stays for our local Wish kids.
What are the ages of children who want to make a wish, and how do they get in touch with you?
Sure. We grant wishes for children aged 2.5 to 18. So anyone can refer a child to have a wish. It could be a family member, a teacher, a doctor, or even the child themselves. If they've heard about Make-A-Wish or they know of another child that had a wish granted, they could even call our offices. But really the best way is to go to our website, hawaii.wish.org, and you can get more information there.
When a child gets a wish, how many of the family members are allowed to travel with the child?
That's a great question. First, let me back up a little bit, because once a child is referred, there is a whole process, right? So we first check their eligibility, make sure that they do in fact have a critical illness. We check with their doctors. And then a volunteer wish granter will go to their home and help the child determine what their one true wish is. And then we stay in contact with that child and with that family, and make sure that we go into the home and we make sure that they have something to look forward to. We bring happiness and joy to this family, because imagine when a child has a critical illness, what that family is going through, right? Yeah. The pain, the heartache, the suffering, whatever it may be. So we don't talk about that stuff. We go in and bring joy and happiness. And then we help plan the wish, and we help get the family excited. For the wish, they are usually allowed to bring in siblings. Usually it's a family of 4 that gets to go on their in the wish. And wishes typically fall into 4 categories. I wish to be, I wish to have, I wish to go, and I wish to meet. So very exciting.
Yeah.
And really it's whatever their imagination can come up with.
Trini, when I'm sitting next to you right now, I feel this, you have this amazing passion for the work that you're doing. The name of our show is Inspire You and Me. Trini, what inspires you?
It's the families that we serve, the families and our staff. You know, to be able to wake up every morning and know that you're going to grant someone's wish today, that's pretty magical. That's pretty special. These families, as I mentioned, what they go through, you know, with the doctor visits and, you know, missing birthdays because they're in the hospital, sometimes missing holidays. I mean, the pain that they go through, but they're also so resilient, you know, and just to be around that, you can't help but feel inspired. And our team, I have the best team in the whole world, truly. They are passionate and dedicated, and they care so much about our mission and about the families that we serve. They inspire me every day.
A lot of people probably want to know, how has the transition been for you? You were with KHON for 19 years, and now you're the CEO of Make-A-Wish Hawaii. What has that been like for you?
It's been wonderful. It's been a challenge. I mean, there's, you know, so much to learn. I used to joke with folks and say, I feel like my brain's going to explode because it's so much information. But I've always believed in giving back in any way. You know, I've always been involved with different nonprofits over the years. I feel truly blessed to be able to do what I'm doing. And it's been wonderful. You know, thankfully I have a great team, like I said, that welcomed me with open arms.
Is there anything else about Make-A-Wish Hawaii that you'd like us to know that you haven't already shared with us?
I just want people to go to our website and get more information. There's so many ways to get involved with Make-A-Wish. You can volunteer at one of our events. You can donate money because we rely so heavily on the community support to be able to do what we do. And just a reminder, all of the monies raised in Hawaii stays for our local Wish kids. But there's lots of ways to get involved, so you can just go to hawaii.wish.org for more information.
Trini, thank you so much for taking time out of your very busy, meaningful schedule. I wish you continued success, and it's been our pleasure having you here with us today.
Thank you so much for the opportunity.
Unique, majestic, inspiring. Hawaii's hidden gem on the windward side. Just a short scenic drive will take you to one of the most extraordinary locations in the world. We specialize in conferences, meetings, retreats, business functions, social events, and off-premise catering. Delectable cuisine, stunning panoramic views, and excellence in first-class service. Let Ko'olau Ballrooms and Conference Center make your event a memorable experience.
We are very pleased to have as our special guest on the show, a guest from Washington, D.C. He is a transportation expert, Mr. Ross Capon. Welcome, Ross.
Thank you very much, Jessica. Pleasure to be here.
I'm excited to have you here because you have such a fascinating background. You tell us about your involvement with NARP, and for those people who don't know what NARP stands for, explain to us.
Sure. National Association of Railroad Passengers, which was recently renamed Rail Passengers Association, was founded in the late 1960s when it looked like all of the intercity passenger trains in the U.S. were going to disappear. Played a major role in the legislation that led to the creation of Amtrak, which ultimately took responsibility for intercity passenger trains off the hands of the private railroads that did not really want to have it anymore. And so over many years, over 39 years in my tenure there were many attacks on Amtrak. The most famous one, I guess, was President Reagan. But the people spoke loud and clearly, and to a large extent in a bipartisan way in Congress, saying that they wanted a national system to remain, and so it has.
So Ross, tell us, how many passengers do you know nationwide take the railroads?
Well, in terms of intercity, in terms of intercity travel, and let's leave aside the Long Island Railroad and the other commuter railroads, but on Amtrak, it's something on the order of 32 million passengers a year.
Amazing. And you were the president and CEO for 39 years, representing many of the passengers.
Exactly. Representing the passengers and their desire to keep the service going, and an awful lot of cities and counties. My current organization, the American Association of Private Railroad Car Owners, or APRACO, just played a key role in forming a Southwest Chief Mayors Coalition, where we are bringing together mayors from all along the Chicago-Los Angeles route to work to keep that train running.
Ross, one thing I've learned from you is that there are private railroad car owners, and share with us about that.
Right now, there's over 100 private cars that are owned by probably 60 or so people. And when I say private cars, I'm talking about Amtrak qualified, which means that they're maintained to the Amtrak and Federal Railroad Administration safety standards so they can operate behind scheduled Amtrak trains.
Private cars that can hook up to the back of Amtrak and operate independently as a business.
Right, many of them are small
Amazing.
Businesses, and the oldest one is about 1916. It's called the Federal.
Walk us through what happens in these private. They're like people can sleep, eat, and
Yes.
but it's a higher quality, I understand.
Oh yeah, I mean it would cost a lot more than a sleeping car on Amtrak, but it's a very high quality experience. Through 2017, twice a year, we would run special trains, which were solid private car trains, a convention special and a mid-year special. Amtrak put a stop to that in 2018, but we're working with Amtrak under their new restrictions to hopefully get that restarted again so that there will be an opportunity for people to come on an all special train, all private car train.
How many years has private railroad cars been around?
Oh, this has been going on for over a century. This is a long-term tradition that long predates Amtrak. And I should say that although the experience is luxurious, all of these owners are not particularly wealthy. A lot of them have put all their wealth into maintaining those cars, which is why they charter them out to get paying passengers to help defray the expenses. And a lot of people are employed on these cars, and those are not wealthy people either. So again, it's a small business that has many benefits.
And how many passengers are on these private cars that hook up to the back of Amtrak and can take a wonderful vacation or a trip or just enjoy themselves?
Well, for an individual car, the number is not large. It might even be 10 or fewer. But you can also have more than one car traveling together, so it can be a little larger number. But it's basically a fairly intimate experience.
And railroad cars have been around for a long time, and you, with your job for 39 years representing passengers on the train, that's a major source of commuting for people in the DC area and for people in major areas of the country.
Right, yeah. Our primary emphasis with the association was not on commuter trains, but on saving the intercity trains, because those were the trains that were called in, whose survival was in doubt.
In your professional expertise with the railroads, what are the biggest challenges that passengers have?
Well, in terms of Amtrak and the travelers, I mean, the biggest challenge over the years has been whether the system would survive, because at many different times, there was a huge question. There was some White Houses that proposed zero capital funding for Amtrak, in some cases zero funding completely, and fortunately the Congress has come through, and in some cases it was said that the administration actually had a smaller role to play by coming up with zero, because nobody took it seriously, and so the Congress had, in a sense, freer rein to do what they wanted. I should say that in the course of my work, even for the private railroad car owners, I have met with the staff to Senator Schatz, because he serves on the Appropriations Subcommittee on Transportation, Housing, and Urban Development. So part of the responsibility of a committee member is to be aware of all the issues. It's not strictly supporting your state.
Yeah. I have to ask you this question. When you were a kid, did you have a train set?
Yes, I did. Yes, in fact, I was initially...
I figured you did. I could just picture you with these railroad trains. And
Yes, I plead guilty to having been a rail fan as a kid, and I actually got very interested in politics in the 1960s, and then ultimately I combined politics and trains.
in closing, Ross, what inspires you as a person who has been involved in trains pretty much most of your life?
Well, the convergence of the train movement, shall we say, and the environmental movement, the realization that we need to drive cars less if we're going to save the planet. I mean, electric vehicles are an important step, but just converting to electric vehicles and not reducing the number of cars is not going to get us there. So to see something that I've loved because it's a train turn into something that's important for saving the planet has been very satisfying.
You know, here in Hawaii, we have the rail that we've been working on for years, and we hope to get that up and running at some point.
Yes, I hope to come back and ride it.
Thank you so much, Ross, for appearing on Inspire You and Me, and I wish you the best as you continue to travel on the railroad.
Thank you very much, Jessica. Pleasure to be here.
We hope that you've enjoyed our show this week. I'm going to leave you with a rich thought for the day. A person with positive energy is like a magnet to many people. When you create positive energy, not only do you empower yourself, but you empower those around you. Think about it. Until we meet again, I'm Jessica Lonnie Rich. Take care.
My, it's a beautiful world. I like surfing Waikiki. I like to paddle out beyond the white breakers, where a man can still be free, or a woman if you are one. Yes, I do like surfing Waikiki. My, it's a beautiful world. My, it's a beautiful world. Oh, my, it's a beautiful world. My, it's a beautiful world.
The hardest thing in life is letting go of a loved one. Finding the right provider can be essential in your time of need. Celebrate your loved one with Ballard Family Mortuaries. We offer a full range of cremation and burial services on Oahu, Maui, Hilo, and Kona, with professional guidance and specialized attention you can trust at the most affordable cost. Call us today for a free consultation on funeral service options available to you and your family. Ballard Family Mortuary Group, serving Hawaii since 1997.